What kind of car would you choose if you really want to rip up the road, asks our tester Emmanuel. An Opel? But this isn't just any Opel. It's the new Astra OPC. It packs 206 kilowatts of power and 400 Newton meters of torque. Let's see what it delivers. This new Astra, which bears the badge of the Opel Performance Center, was intended to fill the gap between the Corsa OPC small car and the Insignia OPC sedan. It covered some 10,000 test kilometers around the Nürburgring's northern loop to fine-tune its various components. And all that testing has clearly paid off. A top speed of 250 kilometers an hour makes this the fastest production Astra ever. We didn't go easy on our test car, though, so our fuel consumption fell a bit short of the stated 8.1 liters for 100 kilometers. Our figure was 11 liters. But with performance all important here, fuel economy is less a concern. Driving on rural roads is one thing, points out Emmanuel, but to really push this baby to its limits, you have to take it onto a racetrack. So we tuck into a red test car. It comes with firmer tires, better suited to a proving ground. Former race driver Joachim Winkelhock sets the pace, relaying instructions via the radio. We do our best to keep up. Out on the test track, Emmanuel notes how the sport suspension pays off and the OPC mode really kicks in. So what does our former race driver say to the new OPC creation? He immediately feels at home when getting in. The ergonomics, seats, pedals, and steering wheel. And then the handling. It all gives him confidence in the driver's seat, and the advancements in this model really impress him. He doesn't need to think that far back, to his time in motorsports, maybe 15 years ago. A suspension like this, nowadays standard, was just not normal back then. A brief pit stop gives us time to take a closer look at the test car. The 19-inch wheels are standard and underline the car's sporty feel. The sloping rear roofline gives the Astra a coupe look. A rear spoiler generates extra downthrust. Bi-xenon lamps with built-in daylight LEDs are part of the standard package. And OPC is, of course, proud of its logo on the rear. The 2-liter turbo gasoline engine delivers almost 30 kilowatts more power than its predecessor. But you need to be able to control that speed, says Emmanuel, so the OPC added Brembo brakes, normally found in motorsports. Joachim Winkelhock takes charge of the test. Accelerate to 100 kilometers an hour at an emergency stop. Really stomp on the brakes. Right down the line. Perfect. We share the impression of expert Joachim Winkelhock. The special edition brakes from Brembo make an astonishing difference. On the slalom course, the Astra hugs the asphalt, which is great fun. That's thanks not least to the high-tech Hyper-Strut front suspension with high-performance struts. And hefty load changes at high speeds are also child's play, although those in the car do get thrown around a bit. Speaking of the interior, it's also adorned with the OPC logo. The door sill panels, the steering wheel, the stick shift, and the bucket seats, although the latter cost an extra 2,000 euros. The multifunctional sports steering wheel and the sat-nav with touchscreen are standard. All of which has you clamoring for a bit more. And so we hit the country roads again, which are just as much fun. Plumping for this sporty number will set you back upwards of 34,250 euros. And in Germany, the long list of extras can easily run that bill up to 40,000. The famous three-pointed star atop a bold grille. The long hood is another giveaway. This is a Mercedes, the latest model from the SLK range. Further back, of course, a compact passenger compartment and a short rear. The interior, as expected, boasts top-quality workmanship. The chromed air intakes and power seats underline that class and quality. We head for the rolling hills of Germany's Westwald region, home of singer and entertainer Willy Wonder. He's a proud SLK owner and fan. He's been driving one for years. His first SLK was written off when someone crashed into him. He had no choice but to get a new one. Nothing else but an SLK would do.
Und da musste ich natürlich schnell wieder einen neuen haben. Ja, einmal SLK, immer SLK.
Will a test drive of the new generation change Willy's mind?
Wow, der sieht ja
Apparently, it looks just like his own. Same color. Plus, it's fixed up like his edition. He's looking forward to this. He finds the rear pretty cute, too. He can't wait.
Klasse. Da bin ich ja mal gespannt. Dann wollen wir mal. Da wollen wir doch mal gucken. Aber jetzt will ich auch das Dach aufmachen.
His first instinct is to open up the top. Wow. The new Magic Sky Control roof is optional. It allows the driver to vary the amount of light inside. The button for going topless is not in the place he's used to, but it's easy enough to find.
Okay.
It takes under 20 seconds to open up completely.
Freiheit.
Open sesame.
Ich liebe SLK. Einmal
He loves the SLK and always will. Time to hit the road. But of course, as a musician, he wants to have the right in-car sound. Does it have a iPod dock? Oh, yes. Plug in, turn on, and take off.
So. Gute Musik, gutes Auto und ab geht's.
Whatever kind of music you like in your car, there can be little doubt over the joys of open-top convertible motoring. And this SLK is very efficient to boot. Its stated consumption is 5 liters of fuel for 100 kilometers. For a car packing 150 kilowatts of power, that's a decent figure. So much for the stats on paper. How does the new generation actually feel at the wheel? The handling is a little better than his own SLKs, but not much. It's great around corners. You don't even notice that it's a diesel, he says. When you hit the gas, it really takes off. Not normally expected from a diesel.
Das ist für einen Diesel ja relativ unnormal, aber schön.
It's really a steady ride. The traction is perfect, although it is with his own car as well. He's not so thrilled with the speedometer, though. He'd prefer a large one in the middle, with smaller dials on the sides. He admits he might be a little old-fashioned.
Was natürlich.
One new feature Willie really likes is the warm air flowing around his neck. It lets you enjoy your open-top experience even at cooler temperatures.
Da macht es sogar auch noch bei 15 Grad Spaß.
All in all, will he warm to the new generation of the SLK? Or will he remain faithful to his trusty old steed?
So. Sehr schön. Also ich würde sagen,
He's sorely tempted.
würde ich ihn
There are a couple of minor grievances, but really minor. That said, he might need to land one more hit before he can afford the new model. For the time being, he'll be happy to drive his old model. Although, we can hear him saying, just one hit, as he heads off. BMW presents the Active Hybrid 3, the first compact sedan of its kind. Up to speeds of 75 kilometers per hour, it can operate in all-electric mode only for stretches of up to 4 kilometers. When the speedometer hits 75 kilometers per hour, a 225 kilowatt inline 6-cylinder engine kicks in. The V40 sees Volvo introducing an all-new hatchback model. All engines feature start-stop and braking energy regeneration. Of the 2 gasoline and 3 diesel units available, the most fuel-efficient is the 85-kilowatt D2 diesel with a consumption of 3.6 liters over 100 kilometers. The V40 also boasts a world first, an extra airbag to protect pedestrians in collisions. With its 73 curves, the Nürburgring's Old Northern Loop is one of the most challenging racetracks in the world. Audi is the first car maker to prove what an electro vehicle can do under these conditions. Today, Audi is out to set a lap record for a production-destined electric car. It's a big step for the car maker because, up till now, it only produced concept vehicles for the development of e-cars. Later this year, the R8 e-tron will be the first purely electric car that Audi takes into mass production. On the track, the all-electric sports car shows what it's made of. In his initial run, Markus Winkelhock, this year's winner of the Nürburgring 24-hour race, attempts to establish a new record time for an electric car destined for series production. He knows this demanding track like the back of his hand. The Northern Loop is nicknamed the Green Hell, he tells us, and it's widely seen as one of the hardest circuits in the world. He confirms that it's an enormous challenge, even for professional race car drivers. Driving an electric car is a completely different experience, even for him. At first, it wasn't easy to get a feeling for the speed. In a conventional gasoline-powered car, he's always got the noise from the engine and changing gears to go by. But with this electric car, it's very hard to judge the speed and slow the car down to just the right pace to take the curves. He explains that it really wasn't easy at first, but he gradually got used to it lap by lap. The Audi R8 e-tron Markus Winkelhock drove is virtually identical to the upcoming production model. The electric motors together delivered 280 kilowatts of power with 820 newton meters of torque. Its top speed is generally limited to some 200 kilometers per hour, but was bumped up to 250 kilometers per hour for the test laps. The Audi R8 e-tron covered the Northern Loop in just 8 minutes and 9 seconds, immediately setting a new record. For his second run, Winkelhock switched to a different R8 e-tron, limited to 200 kilometers per hour. But he still drove 2 quick laps in a row and scored excellent times. Reason enough for a champagne shower. He says it was totally different, of course. He had to ration the energy he had available for the 2 laps, always keeping in mind that it only had to last him through to the checkered flag after the second lap. On the first test run, he gave it everything he'd got. He didn't have to watch consumption, so he just opened it up from the first to the last curve. It was a very new and different experience, but he confirmed it was lots of fun. On the Northern Loop, Audi got off to a flying start to the age of the e-car. Even so, the car maker is planning only small-scale production of the R8 e-tron at first. The management is not yet prepared to say where things will go from there. The future of e-cars is wide open.